Shalom, this is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. This is a Republic Notice. The title of this Republic Notice asks a question, and the question is Paula Deen the latest victim of the Uncle Ben and Jemima addiction? Is Paula Deen the latest victim of the Uncle Ben and Jemima addiction? What is the Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima addiction? It's the addiction that blacks was born to be servants of whites. They was born to cook for them, clean for them, make them happy, dance and sing for them, cater to them. And we know this is acceptable American ideology because Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima is still sitting on the supermarket shelves with the man on the cream of wheat box to go along with it. And Aunt Jemima got a big smile, and Uncle Ben looked like he loves what he's doing, and so did the man on the cream of wheat box. Now, what's significant about Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and the man on the cream of wheat box is that they're images of constitutional black people supreme contractors. But because of the addiction, people feel as though they can own images that has been non-consented since 1866, when blacks inherited contractual enforcement rights in all states and jurisdictions of non-consent jurisdiction that covers all territories, all states, all jurisdictions. Non-consent contractual rights automatically enforced of non-consent jurisdiction. See, the whole Constitution had to be changed, and people don't know the whole Constitution had to be changed to abolish the institution of slavery. And this is why. Because the foundational America is based on involuntary servitude. So the whole Constitution was changed in 1865 to put abolishment of involuntary servitude. It went from consent jurisdiction to slavery to non-consent jurisdiction to slavery. And who are the non-consenters? They're black Americans. They're black Americans. They didn't even ask to go in the Constitution, yet they're in the supreme contract because 3/5 couldn't consent. The Dred Scott decision of 1857 confirmed this when Judge Taney said you're framed in the Constitution. But framing is the four corners of the Constitution. So then when Dred Scott got citizenship, it had to be inherited because he had no legal rights to consent for it. No legal rights to consent. Their legality, constitutional legality of blacks with the 14th Amendment was inherited. That means it was non-consented. So here we have the non-consenters, Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima and the cream of wheat man on the box being displayed by corporations using their non-consented trademark identity and their recipes. I don't care what they say. You know, I got a video called Black Vaginal Envy, and I say how they want everything out of the black woman's vagina. Anything she produces, they want. See, she laid the foundation for the cooking, for the music, for everything in this country. And that's why the Supremacy Clause, called the 14th Amendment. See, our constitutional writers and Reconstructionists were not jokes. They was not going to play with the Most High. They knew she was the Judah woman. Now, Paula Deen, victimization is Mystery Babylon is trying to act like she is so unique in her racism, in wanting blacks to be in servitude, you know? And the difference is between Paula Deen and these corporations is Paula Deen at least was offering them a paycheck. Okay? The corporations want to use the images and likeness and recipes and don't want to give them their wealth that they're using it from. I don't have Stockholm Syndrome, but I just want to point out, because I asked a question, is she the victim? And I think Mystery Babylon, which is the public, tries to distract by getting one of their own and calling one of their own racist. And she may be. She may be, but the whole Mystery Babylon is racist, thinking blacks work 400 years just so they can come to America on top of that and claim birthrights that was never constitutionalized to them because of non-consent in the Constitution. The Constitution was signed, sealed, closed in Fort Knox by 1870 with the 15th Amendment, which is the New Jerusalem Wall. So the victimization that I'm talking about of Paula Deen is asking the question, is she used as a distraction? And the blacks have to be careful about this, because we're in the end of days, and they may be using their own as a distraction to cover up the whole system of incorporate doctrines and the public Mystery Babylon addiction to the Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben being born just for their purpose. See, because they know revelation is now coming about, and blacks going to find out they are the republic. They're going to find out they are the republic, and they're going to find out the word Niger is in the Bible describing them as the most high ones that bring the good news. Okay? So my concern with Paula Deen and all people who have blacks working in their restaurants and establishments and everything is just this. You got people who got the higher contract called the Republic, who are the supremacy and the true government. They hold no debt. The public is the debtors. The public is the debtors. And King Yeshua rode in on a mule called the U.S. Corporate Mule in 1871 to separate the goat, which is the public, from the sheep, which King Jesus shepherded. The sheep is those of the republic. And since they non-consenters, they hold no debt. They couldn't consent to debt. They couldn't even consent to go in the Constitution. So these debt-free, supreme contractual people is working for debtors. Debtors who have fiat money for exchange. Because Mystery Babylon rewards the public with fiat money, even though they got a debt tower of Babylon so deep an abyss had to be made for them, but it's going to hell. It's not going up, it's going down, okay, in the abyss. So these are contractual debtors giving fiat money, 16 million, 17 million, which is only an exchange, honey, because the supreme contract holds the wealth, which means Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, and the cream of wheat man, and anybody who worked for Paula Deen has a supreme contract order that's black. So any blacks work for Paula Deen is part of the constitutional republic. And Paula Deen don't have no contract that can equal that or higher than that. So really, they are the contractual owners of Paula Deen property and wealth. But she's not unique in this. But see, to cover it up, everybody want to make a big deal. Now, I was concerned with the sister saying, you know, there was some sexual harassment of Paula Deen's brother, and Paula Deen seemed to want to ignore it and overlook it. You know, Bubba, you know, went back to the old saying we used to say as kids, Aunt your mama pretty. She got meatballs for her titties, and she got bacon and eggs somewhere, okay? See, this is the Aunt your mama addiction that's could be in Bubba, okay? Aunt your mama. So this symbolizes blacks who work for public immigrants that came here to squat. They call the U.S. squatters. They call, they pretend they're citizens, but they're U.S. squatters, really, because the Constitution has been closed. It was Fort Knox sealed. These constitutional writers, Reconstruction, the Revolutionary, Civil War, they didn't care nothing about race, believe it or not. They cared about that red blood. And honey, they Fort Knox and sealed that red blood through black people. Since black people couldn't consent, they made sure their blood spill was not in vain. That their blood spill would be cosmically protected through blacks who are the supreme non-consenters. And so all these immigrants came in, was basically brought in by the banksters, the Catholic Church, and everybody who wanted to war against God Almighty. And that's why they public debtors, because they couldn't overcome the supreme contractual republic that was Fort Knox. And that's why they're just a load of public debtors. And whatever they tell you the debt is, you better not believe it. Because I'm going to tell you this, one Aunt Jemima can claim $2 quadrillion owed to her. One Aunt Jemima. One Aunt Jemima is owed $2 quadrillion. One Aunt Jemima would be owed is $1 quintillion. So all these debtors who tell you about that, hear about the trillions of dollars in debt, you better talk about quintillions. Quintillions. And this is why in the cosmic abyss hole have to be open for the Tower of Babel. And King Yeshua opened it. So those who try to tread on his holy covenant, constitutional republic, with their Uncle Ben, Aunt Jemima addictions, they fall into the trap of the debt abyss. And the debt don't go away. This debt is not going to disappear because the cosmic have a law. Cosmic law does not change. Cosmic law is revolutionary. Whatever you lay down shall come back around. If you lay down all this stealing and debt for your American dream scheme on somebody else's land and birthrights, and you wanted to pretend they wasn't there for your Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima addiction, is debt hell angels that will collect. And they won't stop until it's all paid, honey, because the cosmic law must be fulfilled and balanced. Otherwise, the beautiful stars, the sun, and the planets we see will be out of balance. Therefore, cosmic law will be balanced, and all the debt will be paid, and the debt and the hell angels will make sure of that. So I'm saying this, Paula Deen may be used to be scapegoated since we at the end of days, to cover up all the immigrants that got blacks working for them, and blacks got a supreme contract on them all. On them all. Paula Deen even admit she got her frying chicken recipe from a black woman was frying when she started out. She got a hotel and the black woman was frying the chicken. Somehow this black woman became a sub-partner even though this black woman had the supreme contract on Paula Deen. But see, this is the Uncle Ben, Aunt Jemima addiction of America. This is their addiction, that somehow blacks was only put here to serve them and be subservient to them. Yet blacks are in a supreme contract, but their Uncle Ben, Aunt Jemima addiction can't comprehend that. This is Mary Omni from the house of King David. Shalom.